Today is your lucky day because a lot of people think that we are these ivory tower whitey racists who just, live on YouTube and don't respond at all to our audience. But today, my friends, we are doing exactly what you didn't ask for, which is responding to your comments. So I have about 4 or 5 comments here from various videos, and I thought it would be quite pleasant for us just to go through them and then respond in turn. And the first one is about our video on the Cape Town hijacking where the people stopped in the middle of the road and then sort of got attacked. And we said that was a terrible idea and we advocated for running over hijackers if you are in a moving vehicle. So the commentator says, if you do run them over, you're wondering what the law is going to say about that. You can't even shoot an intruder in your own house, so I assume the government will charge you for some sort of homicide. Byron, my friend, self-defense is real. In South Africa, it's called private defense. It is a real law, and it's actually very, very simple to understand.
Yeah, and it's very simple to understand in the context of living in a violent society. In fact, you will recall that when you did your competency, there was a nice section in it that basically says if you shoot someone in your own home, most people in South Africa kind of understand it's a violent country and the chance of you being involved in a violent crime is kind of high. And so the NPA, National Prosecuting Authority, actually takes that into account when prosecuting you. And we went through this in the video at length. In fact, I sat there for a very long time with Ramon getting very bored, explaining what the law around this is. So I have to ask myself the first question, which is, did this guy actually watch the whole video or did he click off at like 2 minutes in?
Yeah, I have a feeling that it did click off 2 minutes in because driving over someone who's pointing a gun at you is a form of self-defense. Self-defense is what? If you are in imminent danger or someone else is in imminent danger, you are allowed to defend your life or someone else's life with the tools at your disposal.
Correct.
Whether it be a cardboard cutter, a car, a boomerang, a gun, or an RPG. Well, okay, maybe not the RPG, but I mean, the tool can be a variety of things, including your car. So it's not limited to you can only defend yourself with a gun, or you can only defend yourself with a knife or a knuckle duster. Any tool at your disposal is absolutely fine.
Yeah, I didn't understand this one. And then the guy says, but you can't defend somebody in your own house. Like, dude, get off Twitter and actually like see the real world. I mean, there's countless examples of people defending their own life in their own house.
I mean,
In fact, and again, I had to kind of like wonder, man. Like, I did a whole interview with a guy at GOSA, and we sat there for ages talking about what happens if you shoot someone in your own house and all that kind of stuff. And like, we've dissected the law like to the T. And it's like here's this guy going, but you can't shoot someone in your own house. Like, for real?
Like, we broke down the Klagsdorp, I don't remember, the Kokstad, the Kokstad Rambo or Klagsdorp Rambo, whichever one it is. He was defending himself in the middle of the street of a town. He's not under arrest.
With a knife.
He had a huge knife like this. He was surrounded by 6 guys. He defended himself. He's not under arrest. He's not in jail.
Nope.
He defended himself in the middle of a public street. So if
about
you can defend yourself on a street, why wouldn't you be able to defend yourself in your own home? Come now, guys.
What about all those guys that were like running around with shotguns and AR-15s in that when they had the Durban peaceful protests?
Of course.
Like, and then they're like, but you can't use guns. Like, did you see the Durban peaceful protests? Like, they were very peaceful, mate. Like, they were very peaceful. So, yeah, get real, man. Get real.
I mean, my dear viewers, you're intelligent folk, the most intelligent people on the internet. Let's not degrade this channel with silly questions. Sorry, Danny. No, we're not trying to murder you.
No disrespect.
Let's. Anyway, moving
Next question.
On, and it's a bit in a similar vein in terms of the issue is when you drive over the guys, you'll have 20 years of court cases. Shoot them and you spend years trying to defend yourselves in court. I know many people who have defended themselves and shot the criminal. Then they are charged and spend years fighting, losing everything from the expenses. Okay, yeah, the justice system is not fantastic. But as we said in that video, if you have a dash cam and you run over someone who's pointing a gun at you, that evidence is bulletproof. Excuse the pun. And that will get you off any charge that they want. I mean, self defense, I repeat myself, self defense is a legitimate defense in South African law, and it is used every single day in this country.
Mm.
And you have to make a choice. Do you want to spend 20 years defending yourself in court, which I don't think is true, that's probably bullshit, or do you want to die? Like, that's your choice to make. I know which choice I want to make.
Yeah. I mean, look, 20 years to kind of go through a court case. Yeah, okay, we all know that the guy was exaggerating. The only people that kind of managed to evade justice for that long is probably the Zoomers. But outside of those guys, like, the MPA is fairly kind of quick when it comes through to murder charges. And the majority reason for that is because you might get detained. And detention might mean in a pretty shitty prison, and that carries one, cost to the public, and two, they face the charge of unlawful detention if they subsequently lose their case. So to think that the MPA is going to pursue a murder charge, like, logically long term when the case is a bit shitty, yeah, they might do it if you really piss them off. If they interview you and you just come across like a complete wanker, then like they might have a personal vendetta. Don't underestimate, man. Now, like that happens, and that's all walks of life. Like a little bit of politeness sometimes can take you a long way. But to say that you're going to be in court just because you killed someone for the purposes of self defense is like, I hate to use the language of the intersectionalist, but it denies the lived experience of the public. Like, the lived experience of a lot of people is that, like, they use self defense every day, and as long as they have the justifiable means to do it, apart from getting an interview at a police station, the MPA doesn't prosecute. Does that mean it's going to happen like that on every situation? No, because you might have been a complete knobhead, and maybe they just want to make an example of you because you were obstructive. Yeah, that
Yeah.
happens.
But
But on
even,
the whole, like, if
yeah,
you're worried, we even
even,
said, like,
yeah, sorry, Byron,
get
just quickly.
Afriforum on your case, or
Exactly. There's a great precedent for this, which is the Caligny murder case, right? Where people accused two
mm,
farmers of throwing another chap off the back of a bakkie. They were arrested and
100%.
charged in 2017. And in 2020, hey presto, they were released because the Supreme Court of Appeal said those guilty verdicts were bullshit and they overturned everything. That was 3-4 years.
Hmm.
And we know it was bullshit from the beginning, true, and was a bullshit claim from the beginning. And those people did suffer, the accused, don't get me wrong, but it was 3-4 years, right? With all the hype around the case, with
And
the
also,
EFF picketing, with half the town being destroyed, the SCA still came out and said, no, the law was applied wrongly, free these guys. And that was done.
and they now have a case against the state for unlawful detention, which is
Exactly.
obviously being pursued at the moment. That's what I'm saying. See, they don't just want to detain you for nothing. Like, this could be very costly. And as I was saying, if you're really worried, join AfriForum, join Firearms Guardian, buy some legal expense insurance somewhere to help you out. Like, you're not without recourse, man. Like, don't be
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah. No, you're not alone. You really aren't alone. So, on to the next comment. This was about the digitization process of Home Affairs, where they're going to pay 10,000 people to scan documents all day for like 5 years or something,
Mm.
to digitize everything. So Will makes an interesting point, and he's like, with my tinfoil hat on, it seems like this digitization process is a perfect opportunity to purge some undesirable documents that the ANC don't want anyone seeing.
It's a good point.
What documents in Home Affairs though? I mean, it's just IDs and passports and bullshit like that, right?
Yeah, but I suppose if you had certain, like, illegal immigrants here that somebody had kind of bullshitted a document somewhere, and it wasn't really legal, but it was kind of like, a favor called in. Suppose you could argue that maybe you could go back and prove the document fake and then trace it down to whoever it might be. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe you
maybe.
don't want somebody to have been born in South Africa and you disappear their ID. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but this is South Africa. We don't need conspiracy theories for things going missing. Like it's just the state of nature. You know what I mean? Like, the state of nature is chaos in this country. So
Hey, man,
whatever whatever nefarious
I'm trying to
intentions
be
people
generous.
have, whatever nefarious intentions people have, like it never happens. Kasati wanted to shut down the entire country, and there was literally three people on a donkey in the middle of the road somewhere, and that was the national shutdown. Like nothing ever goes to the plans of the wicked. So yeah. Well, I like what you're saying, but I
You know what
don't
I
think it's
don't.
quite true.
You know what I don't understand about the national shutdown, right? This like, and let's just think about this properly. Like the whole point of the national shutdown is they're going to have protests and burn tires and carry on like, the usual kind of peaceful protest type vibe. And I got to ask you, like, why do you need a national shutdown for that? That's like every day in the country. It's like
Yeah,
they're like, oh, we had a national shutdown today, and everybody was like, oh, we
what?
didn't notice. It was just
Yeah.
another day in the republic. Like,
The only answer to that, the only answer is like where.
where? Didn't you see us? We're burning tires. Oh no, I just thought that was Tuesday.
Oh yeah, no, that's just every single Thursday at this moment. I mean, South Africa has over 1,000 protests a year, which equals roughly three a day. So to really make a
Yeah,
stink about a protest, you really need to go big, and the unions and all that just don't know how to do that
just
uh,
no.
very well, I'm afraid. So okay, just lastly,
Mm.
this is not really a question. I just thought it was a great comment by a friend of the channel who's been here for a long time, Graham. Talk about the draining the swamp metaphor that we used once. And he says the swamp metaphor only works in Washington as it was built on a swamp. In South Africa, he recommends using the term drain the long drop because it is far more accurate. So, for our international followers, a long drop is basically a big hole in the ground where people sort of use it as a toilet, essentially. So, imagine like a tin shack with a hole in the ground, and people go in the tin shack and do their business. I think drain the long drop is a very good idea rather than draining the swamp because we do know that the political class in South Africa is numerous, i.e., so long, and it's very much full of shit as well. But good luck trying to drain a long drop. I wouldn't do it for love or money.
Neither would I. Neither would I. So there's actually a couple other comments. So one person says, "Can we get a president under 50? The world is a mess because of frail people's leadership." Yeah, we probably could get a president under 50. Have you seen what's available? Like, trust me, you prefer the feeble old idiot. Like the
Yeah.
guys who are under 50 are kind of like the other guys are physically frail, but these people are mentally frail. Like
So,
they ain't sane people.
so who's a popular politician under 50? Oh, Julius Malema. Yeah, great president. Great, great president
Yep.
there. No, not a good idea. But also, the Finnish prime minister is like 34, and she can't stop like doing ketamine and like
Having orgies.
orgies and like going to discos like all day long. It's like you don't want that as as a prime minister or whatever the hell she is. So no, I think young people in leadership is the biggest bullshit scenario that people have ever created. Young people are not meant to be leaders. Young people are meant to follow
You could
mentors, but we do lack
you
mentors.
could have AOC. Don't don't forget AOC. Like you got to put that in there, man. Like this is a chick that goes on Instagram crying at empty car parks because it makes her look cool. Literally crying at empty car parks. Or she pretends to get arrested at the Capitol by putting her hands behind her back and goes, I'm arrested, even though she's
I
not.
remember
Like,
that. I remember that.
this is
Yeah,
what you get.
the problem is if you have any millennial as president, they all they've grown up with is the internet and social media. So you're just never going to get the truth from them. It's all going to be performative
Mm-mm.
art. That is politics anyway. It's performative art for the most part. But if you speak to Boris Johnson, for example, or even a Cyril has done stuff, right? The guy's almost 70. He was a trade
Mm.
unionist. He was a BE elite rich guy, etc., etc. He's done stuff. He's not the smartest chap in the room, but he has life experience. If you have an AOC, every single day is going to be like a TikTok to the nation, and she's going to talk some bullshit about something else, and like we're going to bomb Putin today, and smiley face on the TikTok, and it's just terrible. We don't want that sort of stuff in our politicians. We
And
just
then
don't.
and then people will say to us, but Ramon, you're over exaggerating. That would never happen. Two words. Justin Trudeau.
What about Justin Trudeau? He's young. And
and does everything that you just said.
oh right,
He's a
that's true.
TikToking liberal who goes around list bomb Putin with a big smile on his face. So if you turn around and you say, "Ah, no, that's unrealistic," that's what you land up with. You land up with Justin Trudeau, where truckers come through and honk horns at his town, and he runs away and flees to the United States because he thinks he's about to get lynched by honking honkers. Like, okay, cool, man.
Yeah, and also, let me just sorry, there was a tweet from Justin Trudeau that I think we should all read. Oh no, it's not. No. Yes, the tweet from Justin Trudeau, like, is the most hyper ironic tweet of all time, is this one, where he says, and I'll quote: "Today we honor the victims and survivors of communism and Nazism in Europe, and we pledge to continue standing up for all of those who continue to face violence and oppression at the hands of authoritarian regimes. Okay, Mr. Let's block the bank account and Mr. Let's jail all truckers who are against vaccine mandates." What a toss. I mean, maybe the algorithm just broke for one day. Like, what he did in real life and what he says, like, just he couldn't see the irony in it. But yeah, there you go. There's your young leaders, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Trudeau. He gets
That's what
COVID every time there's a bit of
that's what you get.
kerfuffle. Yeah. I'd rather have a Donald Trump who's like old and 70 and says Rocket Man.
And funny.
It's much more fun.
And funny.
Yeah.
I mean, for whatever you say about Cyril, and let's be honest, like on this channel, we think Cyril's just a giant like scam. But the man did live through apartheid. He actually lived through some proper hardships.
Sure.
So no matter what you say about him, he did actually experience some hard times. What's Justin Trudeau's hardest time? What the
Well,
the, the
finding
great
out who his
toilet
father
paper
is.
phantom of 2020?
No, finding out who his father
Like
is. He still doesn't know. Is it Che Guevara? No, not Che Guevara. Is it Fidel Castro or is it Pierre Trudeau?
it's Castro.
We know it's
Mm.
Castro.
Well, if you look at all the pictures,
Obvious. But
and his mother was a hippie who liked communists.
anyway, this has gone far off all sorts of things around answering comments. Do you have a final comment for us, or is that it?
Yeah, I have another comment for us around Action SA,
Hmm.
and it says, "What we need Action SA, we really do." And also, a preacher in Robocop clothing. Illegal immigrants is a bigger problem than RP realize. I don't think we need Action SA. Just to start,
So who's RP?
um, I, I actually have no idea.
Oh,
I
okay.
think just ignore that. But this is what they. This is I'm quoting the tweet. So they said like we need action SA. We really do. Like no, I don't think we do. I think it's nice to have political alternatives, but if you look at Action SA, there's two, and we've covered this in our own videos. There's two sides of Action SA. There's the EFF side of Action SA, and there's the DA light version of Action SA. It's nice having another political party, especially one that's led by an African individual. Majority of people say nobody's ever going to vote for John Steenhuisen as president because he's white. Racists, you racists. But that being said, okay, so you can understand that. But then also a preacher in Robocop clothing.
A
What
preacher in
exactly is a
Robocop.
preacher in Robocop clothing?
I don't know. I know you like Robocop. I don't give a shit about it. So I don't know. Maybe it's like that Iron Fist in the
I,
Velvet Glove type of thing.
I have no idea, mate. I almost shudder to think. And then apparently illegal immigrants are our biggest problem in South Africa.
You know,
Nah, man. Like I think we
I
I
had
think
this
we got bigger
fight.
problems than illegals.
I have this fight all the time on Twitter. I said, and I always say, illegal immigrants haven't voted for the ANC for 30 years. Illegal immigrants haven't stolen all the money from the fiscus. Illegal immigrants didn't give us load shedding. Illegal immigrants didn't destroy our institutions. Illegal immigrants haven't caused the destruction of the state as we know it. So maybe what we need in South Africa is a hostile takeover of more competent voters from other countries. So illegal immigrants, yes, some cause problems, right? Some do fill the vacuums of chaos, but they didn't cause the chaos in the first place. Voters of South Africa caused that chaos. So stop scapegoating people and take responsibility for your own damn actions for the past 28 years by voting for the same people who fucked you over in the first place. You did that, not illegal immigrants.
And I'm going to use my final comment to just draw reference to, and I'm not going to name the individual because we get this comment quite a bit. And I'm glad you just said what you just said, because the comment is, please use language without swearing. And all I'm going to say is, fuck off, man. Like, this is alternative news. We're here to just swear and carry on and give our honest opinions. We're not trying to sugarcoat the news.
Yeah,
Like, we're not mainstream media. And there's like a few comments of people going, the mainstream media don't talk like this. Yeah, mainstream media
thank
also dribbles you, and we don't
thank
dribble
God
you.
for that.
So
No, listen, this is our channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we speak. We are normal people. We speak normally. We don't use the Queen's English. We don't have a group of PR people and writers over our shoulder. This is our channel. We talk about the news and we talk about it in this particular fashion. If you like it, great. If you don't watch it. But we're not going to change what we're doing because you don't like swearing. Simple.
please like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Don't leave the channel.
Yeah. And on that note, bye.
Bye.